data is an integral part of business these days, because data, I don't know how many of you have heard this particular term, which data is the new oil. That's what big industry experts have said. And this phrase, data is the new oil, is very popular in the business circles. Now, why are they calling it as oil? Because you should understand the world entire economy, if there is one thing that is powering the entire economy, that is oil right now, because it is from the oil, crude oil, you refine and create petroleum and other byproducts, which is used for powering, which is used for basically all forms of energy. And industries require, nuclear energy, solar energy. Of course, for solar, you don't need oil, but for other types of energies, you need oil for electricity, and for petroleum and other byproducts. So if there is no oil, our entire economy will come to a grinding halt. That is the state of, that is the importance that oil has in the economy. Now, they are saying data is now taking the place of oil because data is becoming more and more important in today's world. So I'll give you an example today of Reliance Jio. Now, all of us know that Jio is a very popular mobile company. You know how much they have spent for creating that company? They've spent about more than 4 lakh crores in creating that company so far, and they are still investing. So crore itself is a lot of money. Now I'm talking crores, not in tens of crores or hundreds of crores or not even thousands of crores. I'm saying they've invested lakhs of crores into Reliance Jio. And do you think they can recover all that money by whatever we are just paying for the data? I think they are giving data services from 150, 150, 200, all these things. Do you think they can collect all the money that they've invested just by charging consumers 150 rupees? Definitely not. It's impossible. So how can, what else can they do? The data that they are giving and is only to bring customers into Jio's platform. Now, they will start monetizing it through e-commerce, which is why if you see Reliance is now investing heavily on retail, on buying retail companies. And they will also monetize it with the help of media, and they will, they are having huge plans where they will charge consumers all these small amounts of money by providing different services and thereby create a lot of value. So 2 big investors have come into Jio right now, Reliance Jio. Now, in the chat window, can any of you tell me who are the 2 big investors? You definitely would have heard those 2 companies, because can somebody chat? I just want to see whether any of you are following the current news. So if some of you know which particular company has invested in Jio, feel free to type it in the chat box. So I'm not seeing, okay, there is one answer. Let me see. So we have Facebook. Adarsh Joseph has said Facebook and iPad. Okay, so that is an internal customer of ours. They've said Google. Correct. So Google and Facebook they have invested. Yes, Dhyaneshwaran, it's Google as well. Nishant, correct. So Google and Facebook are 2 big investors. So why do you think Facebook? Okay? So Facebook is a media company, right? So why did Facebook invest in a telecom company? Can somebody tell me why Facebook invested in a telecom company? Just think about it, because Facebook has we all understand, is a social media company, and Geo, as we all understand, is a telecom company. What is the interest for Facebook to invest in? Now, don't worry if you're wrong. Just feel free to type whatever you know, because as we go to counter Amazon, okay, correct. How can they counter Amazon? By investing in, so Google is investing to counter Amazon is what Nishant is telling. But can how can they do it? They have to create, I can understand if they have invested in Flipkart, that is in the same business like Amazon. But how can Google compete by investing in telecom? Can you tell me? That's a correct answer. I think next level to communication with new customers. Communication is definitely with customers. Yes, definitely. So I'm happy to see some answers coming through. So feel free to engage with us like this even after the semester starts, because one-way traffic is always a boring traffic. So this way both of us can learn, and many times we learn from all of you as well. It is not that we are the only possessors of knowledge. We can learn a lot of things from our students as well. So we have another, Madan has said they can grow digitally by collaboration. Okay, so that's good. So there are lots of possibilities. Yes, all of you are thinking in the right direction. Good. There are lots of possibilities, students. For example, let's take the case of Facebook. India so far has not given multi-brand retail licenses to foreign retail companies. Now, what do I mean by multi-brand? So these days you go to any department store, you can see different brands under one roof, right? So again, in Coimbatore, Nilgiris is famous. If you go to Lulu Mall in Cochin, you can see all the brands that are there in the world under Lulu Hypermart or whatever you call that. I'm not talking about the mall. I'm talking about the retail space they have, right? So you can buy pretty much any type of chocolate, any type of groceries, and so on and so forth. So this type of multi-brand retail companies there are huge, big multi-brand companies around the world, and so far government has not given permission for that. Now, Facebook has entered into India through telecom, and some of you have said they can communicate digitally with consumers. Exactly. Do you know that Facebook has opened is enabling local stores to come online and sell through Facebook? If not, just go and read some articles. Mark Zuckerberg, who's the founder of CEO, he himself has posted in Facebook. So I suggest all of you to go and like or follow Mark Zuckerberg, Z-U-K-E-R, Zuckerberg, B-U-E-R-G. So just go and follow him, because he keeps updating of the Facebook's plans and everything. So if local companies can come online and share in Facebook, and if Facebook, as many of you have said, can communicate, they need a platform to communicate with consumers, and that is why Geo is available. So all these big wigs, when I say big wigs, all these big companies are now coming together, yes, as a counter to Amazon, as Nishant mentioned. That is definitely correct, because Amazon is becoming a huge behemoth, and it is now entering into each and every industry. Now, all these companies have really become so big. You know why? It's because they are able to generate insights. One is they are able to digitally use digital technologies, and the next thing is they are able to generate insights with the help of different kinds of data. And that is precisely what we are going to see today, how companies are generating value. I mentioned in the last session that I'll be using this value word many times, and I said value means benefit. So we'll be looking at how data is creating value for businesses. Right. So let's start with the company called the Weather Company, right? So now Weather Company is owned by IBM. But before that, it was started in 1980 as a very simple television channel. And you can imagine what they would have done in 1980. They were just predicting the weather, as now we see in our, if you go to CNN or even if you go to our television networks, at some point they predict what the weather is going to be tomorrow, day after, and everything, and around the world. So that's pretty much what they were doing. And do you know what they are doing right now? Of course, they are predicting weather, but on top of that, they have websites, they have mobile applications, and they are also a third-party publishing platform. What do I mean by a third-party publishing platform? Basically, they enable people to come and publish, their assets using their websites. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples as we move along, but they have actually morphed into a much larger company than just predicting weather. And they have made all the content free on their websites, and they typically sell ads for generating revenue. So they pretty much have transformed from just a television channel, which is a television channel, is we always call them as media companies. They were a simple media company talking about weather. Now they have an entire gamut of operations relating to weather, but providing much more value than just predictions of weather. Now imagine, for a for a weather company, data would have been very essential even from 1980s, because they would have gathered data, the meteorological data, that is the data about weather. They would have gathered that particular data, and they would have analyzed it, and they would have predicted it. But now they are making use of the data for many other things. Now, what are they doing? But before we go to that, understand the relationship between the weather and the US economy. Do you know 1/3 of US economy is shaped by weather? Now, what do I mean by shaping by weather? If the weather becomes bad, the businesses, it impacts the businesses. You can understand why. If it's rainy, or if it is cloudy, if it's sunshine, so it has an enormous impact on the businesses. And it's very exciting, or it's a very enthralling to see 1/3 of the US economy. Now, US economy is one of the biggest the biggest economy with more than $18 trillion of GDP. Now, 1/3 of that is shaped by weather. Why? Because weather has a strong predictive potential for retail sales. Again, we'll see how that is with some examples, but just a simple example is if somebody predicts that it's going to rain heavily tomorrow, and if you have plans for going out, then definitely you'll need an umbrella. So if companies know that the weather is going to be bad, then they can expect that their umbrella sales will be much more. But this does not stop with just selling umbrellas. It has gone much beyond that. So with this kind of a predictive potential, they are now working with retailers and consulting with retailers, and telling them which products that they should be selling, or which products they can expect to see uptick in their sales based on the weather. Also, retailers are using this particular information to change the advertising and merchandising on the go. Now, what do I mean by merchandising? Merchandising is what goods will I have it on display for my customers. If I can see that the weather is going to be all rainy, then I can probably, as a, if I own a retail company, I can place products related to rain and so my jackets, my raincoats, umbrellas, and other products. I can probably stock it in the front. So this has a lot of predictive, and this has a lot of business potential as well. And that is precisely what the weather company has started to see. After this webinar is over, I would encourage all of you to Google the weather company, and you can see the spelling and everything on the screen from the logo, and just go to their website and see, and just browse through the links and see the different services they are providing. And what started out with a small thing has enlarged, has become a huge corporate now, providing different services. They are also working with brand advertisers, and they are telling them when to advertise their products. Again, when and whom to advertise is a very important thing in growing your business. So allergy medication, jackets, and snow tire brands definitely will be benefited because of weather, inversely or adversely impacted, not necessarily benefited all the time, impacted. But what is the link between snack foods and weather? They have found, they've used data mining tools. Data mining is nothing but finding relationships between different kinds of data. So they have a huge team of data scientists. This, after data's importance has grown, there is a new type of role in companies called as data scientists. And data scientists' work is nothing but finding relationships between different kinds of data and seeing if something can predict a phenomena and start advising or create insights. So usually researchers, academic researchers has to, they were working with data and finding insights. And after that, very big corporates used to do it using statistical analysis. Now, most of the big companies are using data scientists to find relationships. So what is the relationship they found with the snack foods and weather? If it is bright, they have found certain types of chips and other snacks are selling much better. And similarly, if it is sunny, certain brands, certain snacks are selling well, but not the same snacks that were selling well during the sunny and bright, sunny days. So definitely they have found this link, and they are using this insight to advertise the respective brand owners how to merchandise and how to advertise and how to sell their products. Now, this is a very interesting business. If you think about, the weather company's initial business and where they have moved now, this is indeed a huge change. Now, I'm going to make you think a bit. I don't have the right answer because I've not gone in and checked how they are monetizing this service. But monetizing means, yes, TWC is advertising brands, brands based on the weather, how well their products are selling. Now, the question I'm asking all of us is, how can they make money out of this? Okay, so are they going to sell, are they going to price for every prediction that they are selling? Because what if they come and, let's say you are a brand which sells allergy medications, and they come and tell you next week there's going to be kind of a huge climate change, and people are going to get allergies. So you start advertising for your products. Now, just by telling them, do you think brands will pay for this service? What if the rain prediction does not go well? So I think a simple answer, like just by consulting or by just giving these predictions, they can't make money. So what are the different ways you think they can make money? I would like to see some answers, please, in the chat window. Okay, taking advantage of natural calamities, they will advertise. So I'm not sure what Nishant is telling, but thank you, Nishant. Yes, what brand awareness is created, okay. But the question I would like to put in front of you is not just brand awareness, yes, but how will weather company make money out of this? The question again is, it is not about the benefit they are creating to the brands. This is more about, yes, brand awareness is created, all these things, but how will they make money? What kind of a model they can come up with so that they can charge the brands, right? So somehow they have to make money. What are the different ways TWC, the weather company, can make money? So here the value proposition from the weather company to the brand is very, very clear. They are able to they can get commission from the brands. Yes, okay, good. I think that's that's the line of thinking I'm looking for, Matan. That is a nice thing. But what kind of so when you say commission, so can we say from the sales that brands are making, they can get a commission? Is it? That is definitely one thing, but there is also another problem here. You have to attribute exactly how, you have to attribute exactly how much of the sales is because of the prediction and how much of it is, it would have already come even if there was no prediction. So the brands would be selling some money already. So yes, this is definitely one type of one way of monetizing, but they should think through a little more clearly. So, so another way is, if think about it, they are giving all these services, right? Now, what if they even help people advertise? So I'm I don't know. I think this is something that they probably can also start doing, and that is the point that I want to make because from this question, from this discussion. The what if they start an advertising company and they tell the brands, we will take care of your advertisements and we will just charge X amount of rupees for managing your advertisement. So pretty much they can also now act as a advertising agency. Yes, Mithun has said advertisements of the brand products to their viewers. Yes. So they, yes. So one is they can, yes, Mithun, they can advertise the brand's products on their websites. Definitely, that is one possibility. And they can also manage the advertisements of the brands in Facebook and Google, because many of you, if you want to become an entrepreneur, that is one good thing after your MBA. You can start managing advertisements in Google and Facebook by becoming an agent. So digital marketing course of our MBA curriculum will help you do that. We will teach you how to set up and how to manage Facebook marketing and Google marketing. You will get a very practical education in that aspect. We have partnered with a simulation company in the US, and they will pretty much, you will actually do advertisements and in a simulated environment, and you will compete with your fellow classmates. We will give you $5,000 to manage advertisements every round, and Of course, it is not real money. It is a simulation money, but you will use the money to make decisions and choices on on social media platform, not just Facebook, on social media platforms and on Google. And you will compete with the other classmates, and you will see how the product that you're selling is how much revenue you're making from the product, and you will be ranked in the simulation. So that's a very good learning thing. So the point I'm trying to make here is using data, the weather company, I told you they got into different businesses. Now this is another business that they can get into. So they do not have to rely on just weather alone. And this is how Amazon has grown into a big company. They started with selling books, and then they expanded to selling other products, electronic products. Now they are not just selling products, they are also selling services. Amazon Web Services is a huge business for them. It is generating almost more than 50%, I think, of their revenue, or almost 50% of the revenue. So you can go and get a computing space. So big companies now don't have to, even small or big companies don't have to invest on servers, computer servers. They can go and buy computing time on Amazon Web Service, and they can just pay for the amount of computing they use and for the time of the computing. So similarly, they have gotten into logistic business because somebody has to ship and deliver the products that customers are buying. So they were actually using other people's services, other logistic providers, but now Amazon is having its own logistics, and they are using that logistics to serve not just their customers, they are serving for other customers. Now, Kindle is another electronic product, and they also now have telephones, and they are pretty much into all kinds of businesses. So in one of the guest lectures at a later time, we will kind of tell you how Amazon, we will take the case history of Amazon, and we will tell you how they have evolved over the period of time. And that is what the new businesses, the digital businesses are doing right now. You cannot tell that they are in a particular industry. They are all over the place. They now the weather company are also helping insurers with new products. So insurers, especially home insurers, they have developed an app called Hailstorm. Now, Hailstorm in Western countries and cold countries is a very big thing. It's pretty much small ice cubes, which are very hard, will be dropping from the sky when it rains, and it pretty much destroys the car's windshields, the front portion of the car, and it damages the car. Now, they've developed this app, and they are giving it to insurers, and insurers in return are giving it to their consumers. And with this, the consumers are alerted just before a hailstorm so that they can move the cars to safety. Now, insurers are saving tons of money because of this, because anytime their customers their customers' cars are damaged, insurers have to pay money for the damage. So this has created enormous savings, and I'm sure they have some monetary mechanisms to make money out of this from insurers. So we have seen how they have transformed using data just for weather prediction. They have now transformed to different revenue streams by getting new partnerships and by innovating with data. This is the possibilities. So again, this is something that we have been seeing in all the previous sessions. Now, just tell me, what are the 3 domains of digital transformation? Again, digital transformation means how existing companies can transform digitally so that they compete effectively in the market with the new digital startups. So even a traditional company can transform, can use all these, principles and concepts that we are learning to transform themselves. So what I would like to know is just type the number, choose the correct number. There are 6 domains, and including data that we are discussing now, we have seen 3 domains so far. What do you think those 3 domains are? Just answer that in chat. Just type in the number, please. Good. So the correct answer is 1. We have talked initially on our first session was introduction. We introduced what are the 6 areas of digital transformation. The 6 areas are customer networks, platform, data, innovate by experimentation, value proposition. Data, innovate by value proposition. What is the? So I'm sorry, 5. There are 5 areas, and so far we have looked at customer networks, platforms, and data. The reason why we have to understand all these separate areas is if you're going to go for job hunting, and we sincerely hope some of you will go to a retail company or to even a dealership, automobile dealership, and you can present what they can do in all these 5 areas in customer networks, platforms, data. And for people who will want to do it at the end of first year as part of your internship, or who wants to do it as part of your project, this will create enormous value for you personally. If you go to a company and say, these are the things that you can do to attract customers, you can create a platform like this, you can use your data like this, and if you can just give a small presentation to them, be rest assured that you'll get a job that you want, because there are nobody in this area right now who can do this in a meaningful way. And I told a couple of sessions back that we will coach a handful of you, whoever are really interested with these concepts again, and we'll make you work on small assignments like this in customer networks platforms. We'll work with you almost in a small group, so that you get experiential learning over the next 2 years. So we have 6 semesters. So even if we take one area a semester, and if we work individually, you can gain a lot of knowledge under customer networks, platforms, and data, and thereby going and consulting. So you have 2 areas in terms of jobs that we have talked about. One is you can go to a company and say that this is how you can transform your company. That is one area. And another area is digital marketing. You can set up your own digital agency and manage Facebook and Google advertisements scientifically. There are a lot of people who are doing it, but it's not done in a systematic and a scientific way. So we'll teach you these 2 skills if you're interested. Now, companies like the weather company have started to think of data and to grow the business, and data definitely can help. Okay, so I'm going to give you another example. So we all have used Google Maps. Cartographic data is mapping the graph, mapping the geography of the Earth into a graph is cartography. So, cartographic data is what is powering Google Maps. But do you know how they have, how much they have invested on getting this data? You would be surprised. So what they did is, it's not easy to map each and every road in the entire world. It's not easy to do it. You can understand that, right? So what they've done is they have fitted cameras on vehicles, and they've actually made the vehicles travel to each and every road in the entire world, and they video photographed or video. They've made videos and they send the video streams to their corporate headquarters or to wherever their data scientists are. And there is a sub role in the data scientist role called as data wranglers. So data wrangling means they actually clean the data, because everything will come. So when they are videoing a road, there might be other activities that might have been captured in the video other than what they intended to capture. So those things have to be cleaned. So basically data cleaning and data organizing is a subset of data scientists' role. So there are specialists only for data wrangling. So data wranglers clean the data and then they start mapping using it on Google Maps. Not only that, they've also made videos on by sitting on top of camels in Middle East, because they now have maps. They have mapped the entire desert. I don't know whether they mapped the entire desert, but a huge portion of the Middle Eastern deserts have been mapped, and they've used camels for that. So look at the amount of money they should have invested for mapping this data. Of course, they are also using satellites for mapping the data, but primarily initially when they started this whole thing, they've used manually, they've made the cars go around the world and to map each and every road. Now, the data they have acquired as a result was very, very accurate, and that's why they are the world leaders in maps. Now, what is this about Google versus Apple? So in 2012, when iPhone, I think some version, so iPhone 5 or 4 was released, Apple released its own map version on iPhone. So people who use iPhone now can have access to Apple Maps as well. But in 2012, customers were very unhappy with Apple Maps because it was not accurate at all. A lot of historical places were missing, and the direction was wrong in many instances, and the names of the roads were marked incorrectly, and customers started complaining to Apple all over the world because at that time Apple gave provision only for its own apps to be used on Apple iPhones, on iPhones. So because of this huge backlash, even the CEO, Tim Cook, this was after the founder's death. So Steve Jobs died by then, and Tim Cook, who's now the CEO, he explicitly issued a letter of apology and said asked customers to use Google, and they opened Google Maps to be used on the iPhone. Now, why did Apple face this problem? Because they bought the data, the mapping data from third-party customers. So there are a lot of other people who take videographs. So for example, if you're in a city called, let's say Palkad, they could have partnered with somebody like you, and they could have asked you to go and map the data, and they would have bought the data from you. Now that was not working well, and they lost in the maps competition. Now, another way data is being used enormously by businesses is through loyalty programs. Now, what are loyalty programs? You go to any shop these days in a mall or anything, they will ask you for your mobile number, and they will start recording your purchases using your mobile number as the identification. And you will start gaining points. And after you gain a certain amount of points, they will give you a discount based on the purchase. Now, that was what loyalty program was about 10 years back. But now, many big companies have started using data mining, and now they are sending offers based on your particular interests and your particular behavior, purchase behavior, and not only your, so if you have been buying a certain brand of chocolates, they will want you to increase the volume that you're buying by enticing you with a coupon, by a discount coupon. Now, this was not possible before because mining all the data and making sense of it was very difficult. But now with the advantages in other technologies, they are able to do that. So the loyalty programs are now very, very sophisticated, and they are able to pretty much personalize the offers. So if there are, let's say, 20,000 customers in a shop, they can now personalize 20,000 offers to different people based on their purchase behaviors and based on certain things. I think people are having problems. They keep going out and coming in. I don't know what's the problem. Okay, so someone is there to handle it anyway. So data and loyalty programs have become very sophisticated, right? Now, I'm going to make you think a bit. What should Apple have done in order to compete successfully with Google initially? I would like you to give your suggestions. Let's say you're a consultant to Apple, and when Apple was thinking about this particular project, and they were discussing the various strategies, and they came up with a strategy that they implemented, right? So now they're facing problems. Now you go as a consultant. Now, what can you tell them? What should they have done so that they can change course and they can compete successfully? Some answers, please. So one of the reasons why we have now moved away from polling, at least for the session, is we want some of you to type some elaborate answers. It's very easy to pick from the multiple choice questions, but in order to type, you have to think a little more elaborately. So I thought I'll make you think a bit. The question again is, what should Apple have done so that they can compete successfully, either at the planning stage or at least after they realize that now their maps are not accurate? So what are the other ways they can solve this problem? Any answers? If some of you, if you don't understand the question, feel free to ask me to explain the question one more time. Even if some of our faculty members want me to explain, I'll explain it because students might be a little apprehensive. But you know, as a company, what can Apple do? What can they do? In this particular case, I think we can probably think through and see how they could have partnered and created value, and they could have, and how both of them could have captured the value. But that requires some advanced thinking. So thank you both. Excellent. And we have one more answer. They can fix the bugs by knowing the reviews of customers. Excellent. This is what we talked in customer networks, right? One of the big assets of the networks is they start engaging with you in the form of comments. They tell you what is good and what is bad. So you can optimize your product by just listening to customers. And we will briefly talk about that in this session. Excellent. They could have done that, and they precisely probably did this thing. And they probably started cleaning the data by going and fixing, by going and collecting it firsthand themselves. I think now in 2020, the Apple Maps is much better. Even though it's I use my iPhone, but I still go to Google Maps for all my travel needs. But I've also used the Maps, Apple Maps also. It's much better right now, and they have done some of the strategies that you have suggested. Good. Okay, one more question. What can brands do with the purchase data they have from their consumers? So this goes to the loyalty programs. I mentioned one use case. Use cases, how they have used the data is personalizing offers to customers is one way they can use the data that the customers, I said using loyalty programs, they now have access to your purchase behavior, what you have purchased and everything. What else can they do? So this is, you can come up with lots of creative ways, and I just want your creative thinking. Don't worry, I won't ask another question after this. I'll talk for a while. But what else can they do with the data they have? Remember, using loyalty programs, they are pretty much tracking all the items that you're buying. So let's say you go to Lulu Mall and you've bought 50 items in one purchase and 30 items in another purchase, and they keep collecting the data. And over a period of 2 years, you've made about 24 purchases. So they have this huge data with you, right? And they have this huge data of all the other customers, right? And they also now, you're also on social media. So they can start tracking your behavior, not your purchase behavior, but your social behavior. So we'll talk what social behavior means a little later. But what can they do with the data other than giving you offers? Identifying the buying pattern, understanding the needs, understand the customer behavior. Yes, but so what else? So after understanding, so this all comes to, this is good, Rajeshwari ma'am. Definitely understanding the buying pattern, understanding the needs, understanding the consumer behavior. Exactly, they are definitely doing that. And they are giving, as a result of understanding all these things, they are giving you discounts is one benefit they are creating with this. But what else can they do with this understanding? Is it just understanding and giving discounts is what they can do, or with that understanding, what else they can do? Gain insights. This is okay. So gain insights, but yeah, after gaining insights, provide value-added services. Okay, excellent. What kind of value-added services? This is what the weather company did, right? They got into other businesses as well. They can advertise the data on different platforms. So yes, so they can, I think what Nishant means is they can advertise precisely. They can predict what you're going to buy next week because you've bought all these things over the past 3 years, and they can tailor make their ads on Facebook and Instagram. Let's take these two brands, platforms, and they can just make specific ads for you based on their insights. Yes, Nishant, that's correct. And what has Pooja said? Brands can identify the product which has more demand and give more offers. Yes, we have already talked about that. They provide you with choices and might try to change your preference. Excellent. They are trying to upselling. So this is a concept called as upselling. Excellent, Midon. So the formal word for that is upselling. So let's say you've been buying chocolates, a particular brand which is in a particular price point. They can very well see that you're interested in chocolates, and they can entice you with an offer to buy a higher priced product. That is what upselling means. And once you get hooked onto the higher priced product, then your share of the wallet, that is what is a business term that we use, which means let's say you have 200 rupees. Now, as a brand, you've been providing me with 100 rupees every month. Let's say you have 2,000 rupees to spend. You have been spending 100 rupees on my product. By making you move up and buy my costlier products, you would spend 200 rupees every month instead of 100 rupees. So that is what is increasing the share of the wallet. So this is a very formal term that is used in business circles. Yes, so that's definitely possible. And Vyaneshwaran has said they can enhance the quality of the service provided to the consumers. Yes, they can definitely use the data to enhance the service and also the product quality. Okay, and Mr. Kanagraj has said what products they have to keep, and yes, merchandising. merchandising. Exactly, we talked about that in the weather company, how they are using the product. Excellent answers. You're already becoming consultants, and this is exactly, believe it or not, many companies, local companies, do not use data to kind of come up with these kinds of insights. And this is exactly what we would like you to do after the end of 2 years. Identify the switchers. Suganya ma'am has said, identify the switchers and make them hardcore loyal from the data. I think that's what you mean as, okay, so you steal share is probably the right word. That's what you mean. So I can, if I know somebody is buying chocolates, but from my competitor, I don't know how we can find that, but yes, you can do that. If you're meaning something else, then I identify the switchers and make them hardcore. Okay, so before they move, okay, so I think what you mean is in telecom companies, this is very much used. So if you start buying, let's say you buy on an average, you buy again, you know, I don't know, 1 kg of chocolates every month, and suddenly in the next 3 months you start buying, let's say instead of 1 kg, you start buying only 100 grams of chocolates, right? So you're a potential loss. So I mean, they can predict that you're going, or you're probably trying out other brands, and with that data they can entice you again with some offers so that you can start buying your normal quantity from my brand itself. Excellent. So that's a very good thing. All these things are being done. Let's go to the next one. So we already see with a small example, we have gained so many insights. I think, okay, Suganya ma'am has said, yes, sir. So that's what, thank you. Thank you for suggesting that. First, I thought you're a student, ma'am. Only now I saw your last name. So thank you. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so now we discussed this very briefly in our in one of our sessions, how Disney World is using data. I told that they have a magic band which you can buy, and using the magic band, you can use a lot of their services inside the theme parks. So inside Magic Kingdom and inside the Disney parks, there are hotel rooms, there are restaurants, there are rides, there are other kinds of services. And using that magic band, you can enter the park. I said you can even open the hotel room, and you can purchase meals, and you can skip lines. You can skip up to 3 lines if you wear the magic band for 3 rides. So in a day, let's say you go to 10 rides, for 3 lines, for people who have bought the magic band, they can skip the lines and go directly without waiting. So all these things create data, and that is what I've kind of segregated that into 2 aspects. Now, using the magic band, they are creating data, because if you purchase meals, they know what kind of meals you have purchased. If you open the hotel room, they know at what time you have gone out and what time you have come in, and they know at what time people are entering the park, and which rides are very, you know, if you skip 3 rides, so which means that those 3 rides are very busy, and so they can know in real time. In real time is like in the moment that is happening, they can know when it is happening. So all these data is coming, and now how are they using the data? Okay, so they are using it to find which rides are popular, because this is very, very essential in a company like Disney. You have to keep changing your rides every now and then. You cannot have the same ride throughout for the 30 years. So they've been in operation for more than for a lot of decades. They have to keep changing the rides. So yes, they can use the data for that, and they can use it to move the food stores, right? So if people are spending a lot of time in a particular area, then if they move up, then if they are able to move the restaurant to that area, they can increase the sales by that. And another thing they are using is, so at the time you're buying the band, you register your family's name, because your kid's name and everything. And there are lots of characters inside the theme park, Disney theme park, one popular character is Disney. I'm sorry, in Mickey Mouse. Then you have all the other characters, the Goofy and all the fairies and everything. So they have all these people who dress like the Disney characters, and they start coming and greeting you personally with your name. So let's say you're a family of 4 and you have 2 kids with you. And if, let's say if Mickey Mouse comes and greets your kids by their particular name, and if it happens to be their birthday, if they give a small birthday card and everything, that will be the end of, that will be like enormous excitement for the kids. And this is exactly what they are doing with the data. This was, they were not able to use it precisely. And now this is helping them do that. Okay, and you know how much they've spent for this? You'd be surprised. They spent 1 billion, and 1 billion in Indian terms is 7 lakh crores just to gather data and to mine and create insights. And what is the use of this is to increase the share of the wallet. So the revenue that Disney is making from the ticket sales is just one small portion. And people spend a lot more money inside the theme park for purchasing food, for purchasing different gift items, and for in the stores, and for photographs. I mean, there are all kinds of ways you can increase the customer share of the wallet, and that's why they've spent 7 lakh crores on this particular project, and they are seeing positive returns because of that. Now, I think this is we are already it's already 1 hour, but I just want to extend this for another 15 minutes. Why do you think this is so popular now? Of course, data has been there for a long time, but there are pretty much 3 reasons why this has enabled the huge success of data is unstructured data, new tools, and cloud computing. So that's what I mean by big data on cloud. And we'll just look at the 3 reasons why they are able to use the data and create so much value for customers and for themselves, for the companies also. Basically, the first is unstructured data. Now, if I use the word unstructured data, then there's got to be another word, structured data, right? So unstructured data is all the data that you create while using your social media. The social media data are likes, your posts, your comments, your Facebook Messenger chats. All these things are unstructured data. Why is it unstructured? Because we cannot, we will not know what kind. Let's say I will not know, let's say I'm Facebook. Facebook will not know what kind of image you're sharing in, on Facebook. You might share a JPEG image, you might share some other format, or you might share the image without compressing it. You might share it with compressing it. And while you're commenting, you can just do a 3-line comment. You can do a 10-line comment, and your post can be just a photograph, or there can be no photograph and only texts. You can write pretty much an essay on a Facebook post and share it to your customers. I've seen a lot of posts which are more than 100 lines, which is pretty much like a essay writing they write. And especially for, whenever they want to make a point, they clearly structure their argument in a way that all the points are discussed. And so this is why it's called as unstructured data. Social media data is unstructured. And location data, what do I mean by that? Now, all of us are using our mobile phones, right? And we have at least 10 or 20, or even some of you might have 100 apps. Now, do you know that most of the apps are, gathering your location? Okay, so your location data is being gathered continuously by those apps. And there is a lot of use in that location data. I'll explain that in a minute. And the third type of data is sensor data. Now, in the medical field, they are planting chips on on the patient's bodies so that their vital parameters are monitored regularly and continuously. Your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and your heartbeat, and all these data are now monitored in real time and stored somewhere, so that when you go to the next doctor's checkup, he doesn't have to rely on what you're saying. He pretty much gets all the data, summarized data in a format that he can consume. And even in agriculture, ag tech is one area where sensor data is used extensively. They kind of plant sensors in the fields, and the sensors gather the soil conditions continuously, whether the moisture is enough, whether the nutrients are enough. And there are 10,000 data points that those data can capture and send it to the cloud. And using data mining tools, you can really make sense of data. And if, let's say, you have 100 acres, and even in just 1 acre, or even if there is a minute nutritional deficiency in one plant, right? You can identify the plant, and you can go and supply additional nutrition for the plant. Before this kind of data was available, you had to pretty much uniformly apply the manure and other nutritional products, so that and there was a lot of waste, and this manure is one big expense for farmers. Now, if you can micro target the plants, and if you can give exactly what they need, there's a lot of savings. Now, with social media data, we call that as an attitudinal data, because it pretty much tells about your behavior, right? So we can analyze the sentiments, the general sentiments. Let's say there is a big event that is happening in your city. Based on what you're talking and what you're liking, we can say whether it is a positive sentiment, negative, neutral sentiment. So your opinions and your conversations. Now, your conversations is now used in the movie industry, Hollywood, and now even Bollywood, and even now the other woods, the movie woods, are using your conversational data. The day one release of any movie, right? Especially if we like our hero, we kind of go and say how good the movie is, and the people who don't like the hero, who likes another hero, go and bash this movie, whether it is good or bad, right? So using the data mining, they can predict how the movie will run. And based on your comments, they can even know what kind of movies you will like in the future. This is what Netflix is doing right now to recommend you with the type of movies. And with the location data, there is two new concepts called as geolocation and geofencing. Pretty much this is, I won't go into detail. This is nothing but if they understand your likes and dislikes, and when you're in a particular location, and if that brand happens to be located in that particular place, they can, in the moment, target you with the right offers. If they know that you like, let's say, again, chocolates, will come to chocolates. And if you happen to be in the Lulu Mall area, and using the location data and using your social media data, they can micro-target you and say that, you want to come and purchase this brand of chocolates, we are giving you 5% offer. So this is what geolocation, geofencing means. Again, we'll talk in detail in one of those days in the next couple of years about geofencing. This is very big. And in medical and agriculture, we have also seen how this unstructured data is creating value. Now, the second reason why the data has become so popular is now you have lots of tools to process the data. It is not enough to have large amounts of data, both structured and unstructured. It is also important that you should be able to analyze it. And this is where artificial intelligence, machine learning. So artificial intelligence is the broad term that we all use. And under artificial intelligence, you have terms like machine learning. These are pretty much computer programs, natural language processing, and the third one is comes under a different heading. It doesn't come under artificial intelligence. It comes under data engineering. In one of the guest lectures one of our faculty might have talked about big data. And I don't know whether she covered this concept called Hadoop. It's a very big thing in data engineering. So now these kinds of tools are available to wrangle the data. Wrangling means to kind of clean the data and to do statistical analysis, to do computational analysis, and to make sense, to create insights. So in business analytics students will learn a lot more about machine learning. And if you're using natural language processing, one good example is Siri and Google. In Google, I think you have Google Talk or whatever, you speak into the phone and it answers. So that is called as natural language processing. So these kinds of tools are available to process the data. And the final development in terms of technology is cloud computing. So Google now and Siri, I told you, can understand our language, but the software to process all this is not residing on our telephone, on our mobile phone. It is whatever you speak. If you say, "Hi Google, give me open this app," it actually goes. Your voice goes to the central data center. It gets processed there, and it comes back and it gives you the result. Now, all this happens in a split second, in a matter of seconds. You won't know it. You feel that everything resides on your phone. Nothing resides on your phone except the interface, except the entry point. Rest everything is transported via the internet to the cloud. When I say cloud, it is to a data center, not in your telephone. I mean, not on your mobile. It's sitting somewhere on the Google's data center. Through the internet, it goes to the data center, gets processed, and comes back. That's why in Siri, I don't know how Google works, but in Siri, in Apple, if I don't have an internet connection, if I don't have data on my phone, my Siri doesn't work. Because for Siri to work, internet is required, because it is through the internet that it goes and gets processed and comes back. And Amazon Web Services, we have talked about it. They are computer hardwares that they are renting it to business services. And so that businesses now can generate and process the data. Imagine a small company, forget even Lulu Mall, even a smaller company, if they want to mine the huge data, they have to invest on data servers and everything, which is prohibitive. And now with Amazon Web Services, they can just pay for like electricity. You just pay for the amount of electricity you use. So similarly, Amazon is giving a provision where you can use their servers only for the time that you use, so that even small companies can process the data. And there are lots of analytics services that IBM and SAP are providing. So all these developments are, these three developments, this cloud computing, the technologies and the data, that structured and unstructured data, all these things are now coming together to help businesses to acquire data, to mine the data, and to create different value propositions. So we have discussed many of you have come up with different value propositions in this meeting today. The different ways businesses can create value. This is possible because of the last three developments I mentioned. And again, this is the third section that we have discussed. The first in our introductory lecture of mine, I said there are pretty much 5 areas for digital transformation, and we looked at so far customer networks. The second was platforms, and now we have looked at data, and there are 2 more areas which we'll discuss, and we'll wrap the digital transformation. Again, our hope is that we will get into each area for those who are interested when the semester starts, and when you start catching up with all your courses and everything. Then we will come up with a schedule for people who are interested. We will work with each and every area in detail, so that you can develop small projects, and at the end of your term, we will make you go to a company and give a presentation, and they will pretty much hire you. We can be rest assured, and it is a sincere hope that you will utilize this opportunity. So thank you very much. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next session.